if you've ever seen
Oh,
this. This is the car that I liked. The scheme. It was a GTR. I kept trying to find a way to map that to the Cayman. And one Thanksgiving, I sat down and put this together, and that was kind of my version of it. And the other thing we were talking about was the wrap that I was changing and what's going on with that. So I
yeah.
don't know if you've seen all of this over time. So this is what my car looked like. This is my workhorse car. This is a 2008 987. I mean, that's screwed up.
Was that from when you
Actually,
bought it new?
yeah, you can see the
Huh.
window sticker still in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You bought it
but
brand new off the lot?
I bought it brand new as a new build. So the car that was a 2008, it had I think it had like 15,000 miles on it, the
Oh,
donor
okay.
car.
Yeah.
And then SW built like 7 of these, and one of them the guy never even drove, and he threw it in SW's showroom. And so I wandered in there and saw this. After I paid my taxes one year, I was really pissed at how much money I had to spend on taxes. I was like giving up a freaking Lamborghini every year for taxes, and so I was like,
Right.
I'm gonna go buy a car. So I went down there, looked at this, and he was saying this is a sub 230 car. At the time, it was like this was like 8 or 9 years ago when these cars were one of the faster cars out there at the track. Now that the horsepower race is gone for 10
But it's
years,
gone. Yeah.
they're not anywhere near as fast as the cars nowadays. But it was a great car at the time. It was lightweight and agile and everything. And I put a few of the things here that it has. So the donor car was a 987.1. They changed they took a lot of the components out of the GT3, the 997 GT3, the brakes, the suspension, and they put
SW
those on
did
the
that?
car.
SW did
Yeah,
that? Okay.
his
Wow.
shop, yeah. So it has all of the GT3 suspension and then and brakes, and then they put the GRZ shocks, which are considered to be some of the best in the industry. And they put a cup car electric power steering pump on it, so you don't have a power steering pump spinning off of your serpentine belt, right? And
Hmm.
they found that those were getting over revved, so they put the cup car electric power steering pump. It's still hydraulic, but the pump is run off electric motor. There's a massive oil cooler in the back with a huge fan. And so I've never seen my oil temperatures, even on the hottest Texas days, go over 200 degrees, which
Wow.
is amazing. Full cage, full fire suppression. I've since put a flat 6 Innovations 3.8 liter in it. And it has the IPD plenum and then the fab speed headers and exhaust. So it makes very good power. In the 3.4 liter configuration, it was very powerful for that size. With the 3.8, I still haven't got it dialed in yet. It was making like 350 to the ground. I think it should make more than that, so we're still working on that. This is the car. I don't know if you've ever seen
Oh,
this. This is the car that I liked. The scheme. It was a GTR.
yeah.
That was 9 years ago. Was being raced. I like that wrap scheme on it. So I kept trying to find a way to map that to the Cayman. And one Thanksgiving, I sat down and put this together, and that was kind of my version of it. We looked at the way it kind of laid down. This is another picture in the showroom of how it would lay down on the car, and it seemed like it matched the curves of the car really well. They tore the car apart and started wrapping it. They had to do a
Oh,
base
wow.
black layer underneath, and then they had to
Yeah.
do red over the top. And
How
so
good
it
does
was
that
a
look? That looks good.
yeah. So it was one of the most ambitious wraps that he'd done at the time. I've seen him do other wraps that were fairly complicated, but this is the most complicated thing he'd done, and he completely nailed it. So that in the end result, the car looked like that when we got it out,
Yeah,
and
that
so
looks really
everything,
good.
yeah, everything flowed with the lines of the car, which I always like. I don't like to camouflage the lines of the car. I like everything to flow with the car, and so it matched what we wanted to do. And so I ran that for a number of years. It had carbon and it's fake carbon wrap on the hood and on the roof and on the
Yeah, I
rear
remember
wing.
that.
Yeah, and it kind of
It
looks
it looked
flat.
okay.
I had many people come up and look at it in the early years when wraps weren't that prevalent, and they would look at it and they go, "That's beautiful carbon work on the hood and the roof," and,
Like,
and I didn't tell them it's a wrap, but David would laugh all the time when he'd hear things like that because the weave really matched well and stuff. You
yeah,
can see how sometimes it looks kind of flat, right?
yeah,
And other times it looked kind of
with
shiny.
dimension.
You can see. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it had a weird kind of hue to it. It looked really good back when it was new.
They've
Um,
gotten
I
really
also,
good though. Like they've gotten, that's why I said it looked okay. I mean, I think it looked
yeah,
really, I think it looked really good for the vintage.
yeah.
But the
Nowadays,
carbon
it's getting
wrap has
better.
gotten really good. On the GT3, I did a carbon wrap on the hood and the spoiler. So I bought the roof that was $10,000 for the carbon roof as part of the GT3
Yeah,
build or whatever that ended up being.
real carbon.
Real carbon. I will never do that again, by the way. I'm not going to buy carbon, not in big droves like that, where it's 7, 8 grand for now, maybe the 2,800 bits of all the stuff that they put on the outside or bits on the inside or whatever, but not where I go and buy a roof or a hood for 6, 8, $10,000. When you can use this wrap and it's this paint protection wrap, so it provides obviously the paint protection and all of the benefits of that, similar to like an XPEL wrap, self-healing, those type of things. But it has depth, and you've seen it. You saw it on the GT4
Yeah,
RS, like on the roof of that to match the hood and the spoiler. I did the carbon, and it looks spot on, I think, all things
yeah. That's what
considered.
I've done now.
Oh, you
Yeah,
did. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So that's that wrap that you found through your guy. It looks
Oh,
really
you ended up
good.
getting it. That looks killer, dude.
Yeah. So I did the hood. I basically had him peel everything off that we had from that old and put in this new stuff. And this is kind of while it's in, it has to go in for maintenance every year, every 2 years. So it's in for maintenance to get things that were tore up on the track. And we had him do that.
That looks
Yeah.
good,
So
Barry.
there's the roof, and then here's the rear wing,
Hmm.
and so that all matches really well. And then I was trying to get rid of these logos here because the company's gone. And people always ask, well, what company is that? And I was like, oh, they're not in business anymore. So I've been tied to the PlayStation because I worked on it and stuff. So I've always liked the race cars with the PlayStation logos and stuff. So I said, let's go ahead and put the PlayStation scheme on it. So he's going to replace all those logos with the PlayStation logos,
Huh.
like you're seeing here. And that will effectively replace like this stuff and then the rear wing and wherever else he sees that it'll fit in there.
Hmm.
So that's kind of the new scheme that he's going to do.
I'm excited to see it. When will it be done?
I told him no big rush because I wasn't going to use the car over the summer. So he's been kind of tinkering with it over the summer. I think now that we're getting into September, I'm going to start pushing him to get it done and pull it out so we have it for the winter months. So yeah, hopefully in the next month or so or next couple of weeks, I'll be able to get it out.
So could I drive that one?
Yeah, it's a
Would you let me
manual,
drive
Matt.
it?
It's a manual, Matt, and you have to heel toe it.
I don't have to heel toe anything. I could just grind them till I find them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just drop the clutch until you get it right.
Well, that's exciting. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
That's
So,
cool. Well, till next time, Barry. That was a great
yep.
presentation.
Hey, thank you.